This hearing of the Watertown Licensing Board is in session. It is Thursday, July 16, 2020, 7:15 p.m. I'm Donna Doucette, and I will be presiding over the hearing this evening. Assisting me are board members Sandra Kasabian-Hoffman and John Labadini. Assisting us are Attorney David Dineski, Licensing Board Clerk Julie O'Neill, and Sergeant Grady is not going to be with us tonight. Is that correct? Or are we still waiting, expecting him to come?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh, okay. Let me fix my ID here. There we go. I have to read this. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, relating to the 2020 COVID-19 emergency, and to avoid group congregation, this meeting will only have remote opportunities for participation with public access provided as follows. It is televised on the Watertown Cable Access Television. You can join the virtual meeting online. We ask that if you do, you put your name on your little video self and keep yourself muted until you are called upon either as an applicant or as a member of the public to speak to one of the licensing applications. And at that point, Ms. O'Neill will serve as our monitor and direct me to whoever is supposed to get themselves unmuted at that point. You can also join the virtual meeting audio only by phone, and you may also email comments prior to the meeting, and all of this is posted along with the agenda and other information relating to the board actions prior to the meeting. In the first item on the agenda this evening is acceptance of the minutes of June 18, 2020. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman and Mr. Labadini, do you have any corrections or changes you wish to suggest for the June meeting?
I have none.
I do not.
Okay, the minutes are approved as written. Our next item is a special license request for Arsenal Yards, 130 Arsenal Yards Boulevard. This is a request for one-day entertainment licenses for Wednesday through Saturday evenings in July and August. Do we have a representative here for that application?
We do.
And who might that be?
Jessica Reed. I'm trying to unmute her.
Okay.
It won't let me unmute her.
All right, I've unmuted her.
Oh, there she is.
Okay. Jessica, you've requested to have two piano players, I believe, two pianos outside for light ambience during the evening hours for Wednesday through Saturday evenings, July 29 through August 1, August 5 through 8, August 12 through 15, August 19 to 22, with an indication that the times that they would be playing will vary between 3 and 8 p.m. This is using local musicians to create a fun and inviting experience for guests and the community while on site as the different places are opened. And when we do not have a performer, the pianos will be available for customers to play. You've also noted that you will adhere to social distancing regulations and ensure there is proper sanitation available. We need to hear more about that.
Absolutely. So I actually have a little presentation,
Okay.
if it was possible to go through, if I can go ahead and share my screen.
Sure. Will it allow you to do that?
It says it's disabled.
Okay, let's see. Do we know if we've got anybody?
I
Okay.
just made her a co-host, so that
Okay.
should make her able to share a screen.
Okay, you should be able to share it now.
Great. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm Jessica Reed. I'm the marketing director for Arsenal Yards, and I'm excited to be here tonight to talk to you about this campaign. So this is called Petals to the Metal. Summer is in Bloom at Arsenal Yards. Our goal of launching this is to inject some color and life and excitement into the neighborhood at Arsenal Yards, given our current environment. This campaign will be made up of some floral takeovers as well as 2 pianos. To add to the experience, we're working with some local performers and are hoping to bring them on site to add ambiance as people are enjoying their Ben & Jerry's, as they're sitting on the patio outside at CityWorks or picking up their Shake Shack to go. I think we can all agree that the summer is not exactly going the way what we had anticipated, but we are closely monitoring the situation and COVID-19. Safety continues to be our top priority, and we're hoping that we can brighten someone's day with this in a safe and thoughtful way. So this next slide shows the overall map of this campaign. So we would have 3 different locations with floral decor, as well as the 2 pianos. The pianos would be painted. We're working with an artist. His name is Jason Talbot. He is the co-founder and special projects director for Artists for Humanities. The theme is floral, so beautiful flowers and butterflies and nature, and he's really embracing that theme with his painting. The 2 locations would be the River Green area, which is in front of Shake Shack. It's adjusted a little bit since the application, as the construction is moving back. We are gaining more space, and by moving the piano into that space more, we have more room around for social distancing and to allow more space. The other area is on the backside of the Ben & Jerry's building, as noted. We'll go over the safety procedures with COVID-19 in just a minute, but to note on here, it does outline the square footage. The area in the River Green area is about 6,000 square feet, and the area of that entire sidewalk is about 9,000 square feet. So as I mentioned, we're working with a few different local partners, Watertown School of Rock, New Rep Theater, Friends of Watertown Music, as well as Berkeley. Our goal is to have a mix of novice and intermediate and advanced partners to really make it feel like a community-wide initiative. We do see this as an ongoing schedule, really focusing on the ambiance. We don't have property music yet, so we really want it to feel like an ongoing schedule with a focus on the background, the ambiance. So going into our safety standards and guidelines per Massachusetts CDC guidance with phase 3, step 1, we will ensure that we have social distance signage around the piano areas, instructing individuals to stay 6 feet away from performers as well as others. We're also going to add tape markers around the pianos to ensure social distancing protocols even further with that distance. We will have a sanitizing station next to each piano. We will be requiring masks except for those who are unable due to a medical condition. And during performances, we will have security stationed in that area to assist with social distancing and traffic counting. This is being promoted as music ambiance, and we don't anticipate crowds. However, in the case that it is highly attended, we will have traffic counters with security, and we'll make sure that we don't exceed the permitted capacity in those areas. And in that case, we are prepared to ask individuals to leave that area if we need to. All of these protocols will be included in our promotions of the campaign, so people are aware ahead of time.
Let me interrupt you just for a second. How many people would be or could be in the areas that you've designated around the pianos, given the social distancing and the capacity?
So for phase 3, step 1, we are allowed eight people per 1,000 square feet. So for the River Green area, that's 6,000 square feet. We would be allowed 48 people. And then for the other area, that is 9,000 square feet. It would be 72 within that entire sidewalk area.
Okay. And who are the security personnel that you will be posting? How will they be designated?
We do have hired security on site 24/7. So one of their posts would be at the piano. During peak times, we have additional staff on site for security. So we'll be working directly with them. It's through Allied.
Okay. Thank you.
So that was the end of this deck. I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
I have a question.
Sandra?
Yes. Jessica, correct?
Yes.
You mentioned that the public might have access to those pianos as well as the people that are considered the ones that you've asked to come and play. Who's going to make sure that if the public, how does the public get access to the pianos, and who's going to make sure that if the public is using those pianos, that they're using it in a way that leaves it clean and sanitized for the next person who might want to come along and use it?
So when we do not have performers, they will still be on the sidewalk, weather dependent. We do have covers to cover it during the rain. The sanitizing stations will be there no matter if the piano is open, so people have the ability to sanitize their hands before and after. We're not planning on having someone stand there the entire time. We were hoping that people are very mindful and having that sanitizing option before and after. We do have security on site 24/7, and they are a huge help and support in running this program well. So they will be very informed with everything that's going on.
Can I follow up?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so security will be stationed there during the hours that you said that there'll be performers between 3 and 8 p.m. on those days. But what about like the rest of the time? If the security isn't, any of the security people aren't designated to be there outside of those hours of 3 to 8 p.m., how are they going to be able to monitor the use of the pianos and anybody who might kind of crowd around and listen to, say, if it was me playing the piano?
Mm-hmm. So security is not necessarily stationed there, but they do have their rounds and they're very active. For example, they are posted on a day-to-day basis at the end of the road that leads to the River Green. So as they are doing their duties, they can also see the piano. And again, they're not specifically designated to the piano at that time, but they will be able to have eyes on the area. And the sanitizing will be available, and we'll have signage that is instructing people to sanitize before and after the use of the piano.
Jess, I have a question. Sandra, if you're done, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
So, Jessica, do they store their pianos at the end of the night, or they stay outside?
They stay outside. They do have wheels. They could be moved, but we are planning on keeping them in the one spot during the campaign. We have covers that we are going to put on every night, and the security and housekeeping team is going to help us cover them every night and then uncover them in the morning. If it's going to rain all day, we're going to make sure that it's covered and it's not exposed to the rain.
Thank you.
So you're going to have the pianos out there 24 hours a day. They will be covered most of the time except for the hours of 3 to 8, or you're going to have them uncovered most of the time?
They are going to be uncovered most of the time except for in bad weather, and at night they will be covered up, and we will have the sanitizing station next to it anytime that it is uncovered. And
what's included in the sanitizing station?
It is a Purell, a hand pump Purell station, a standing station.
And how often a day is that going to be filled?
We will check it every single day and ensure that it is full at the beginning of the day.
So what
And if we'll understand if it's getting used, if it is emptied midday, if it goes through, we'll make sure it's then filled midday. With this being an ongoing thing, we'll be able to monitor it and make sure that it is filled. If it's getting filled, if it's getting emptied in an hour, we'll make sure it's filled. It's filled after. We can monitor that.
But there's no procedure for ensuring that everyone who plays uses the Purell, or that everyone who plays uses a mask, and you have no end of the day or beginning of the day sanitation of the piano itself. Is that correct?
So we have our housekeeping team who is going to help us uncover the piano in the morning, and they have the ability to sanitize it first thing in the morning and sanitize it throughout the day as they are making their rounds. They are sanitizing elevator keys, and they're sanitizing frequent touch surfaces throughout the property, and this would be incorporated into their daily rounds throughout the day.
And you're going to do this even though it's a piano and even though sanitizing might damage its functioning?
We understand that there are there's a good chance, you know, the rain might damage it too. We are fully aware that we are taking pianos and putting them outside, and the longevity of it. We're hoping that they last a month, and that, you know, there's good usage and the performers out of it. But we do understand that we're putting pianos outside.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman, Mr. Labadini, do you have any further questions?
I don't.
For Ms. Reed? Okay, let's stop the screen sharing, remove Jessica as co-host, and I will ask if anybody from the public has any questions or comments they wish to make regarding this application. There being none, let me read the recommendations we have from the various town departments. Let me start with the police. The department has investigated the applicant's request and would have no objection to the issuance of the license, provided the following is stipulated on the license. Description of premises is as follows. Sorry. I've got the wrong one. I thought I had them in order. Subject to your approval, this department has no objection to the applicant's request for an entertainment license during their reopening to be held Wednesday through Saturday beginning on July 29, 2020 through August 22, 2020 from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. provided that the following restrictions are adhered to. 1, the activities shall be restricted to the property of Arsenal Yards. 2, adequate adult supervision shall be maintained at all times. 3, all patrons shall not create unreasonable conduct and/or excessive noise. 4, any music shall be kept at a reasonable and unobtrusive level at all times. 5, no alcoholic beverages shall be sold and/or consumed on the property during this event. 6, the hours for the outdoor festivities are restricted to 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. And this brings up a query for you, Jessica, and that involves, what is it, Shake Shack and who else? CityWorks? Are those the two that are contiguous to these pianos? I believe both of those have liquor licenses.
Mm-hmm.
People cannot be bringing those outdoors.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That will be part of the security requirement. because if it's not enforced, that will be a show cause violation and you'll lose the license for the rest of the summer.
Absolutely.
The building department has no comment. The fire department has no comment. The zoning department has no comment. However, the health department says that per current COVID-19 guidance, an event of this type is not permitted. This may change as we move to phase 3. However, they suggest that a condition that the applicant has to comply with COVID-19 guidance at the time of the event and must cancel the event if the guidance does not permit such an event to be held. Basically, what they're saying is if you're hitting the guidelines and the activity is permitted at some point during the operation of this license, you're okay. However, if it should change, as it well might, we could get into August and we would revert to an earlier phase for operations. In that case, you would no longer be allowed to operate. That's what the health department is basically saying. Mr. Dineski, would you please advise us as to whether at the current time, although it's awfully hard to project into July, much beyond the immediate, I should say, we are in July. Could you tell us if the current conditions and guidelines would permit this activity to occur?
Madam Chair, I believe the Health Department recommendation was written prior to the start of phase 3, which we are now in, and the small presentation did include the reference to phase 3, step 1, and as was referenced, the 8 per 1,000 square feet. So the Health Department's request for a condition of compliance with applicable COVID guidelines, it still would be appropriate, and obviously whatever that is at a particular time and whatever phase we are in through the state will govern those issues.
Okay, but as of now, they would be okay.
We are in phase 3, step 1,
Okay.
so yes.
Okay, so what we require, Mr. Labadini, we'll let you do the recommendation. The recommendation should take into account the stipulations of the police department, as well as a clear statement of what the health department is saying about compliance with the guidelines.
Madam Chair, if I may, just for ease, I believe the language that's in the report of the Health Department, perhaps with some small
Yes.
corrections, is sufficient for purposes of an applicable condition.
Okay.
Just so we don't have to struggle with that issue as we're making the motion and the vote.
Okay. Yes, but it does need clarification.
So you want me to proceed?
Yes.
I think this is a wonderful thing, and given all that's going on with COVID and the idea of people being able to get an ice cream cone. I've been to Ben and Jerry's once and hear some music as they walk back to their car. We could all debate our interpretations of guidelines, which aren't ordinances, they're just guidelines, and they seem to be well within phase 3. So knowing that, I would vote in favor of allowing this to proceed.
Okay, the recommendation will be that we approve the entertainment license for the dates specified, which begin July 29 and end August 22nd, 2020, for the hours of 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. It will include the stipulations that are specified in the police department recommendation, and it will further include the language that the entertainment license will remain in effect so long as the operation as described complies with the COVID-19 guidance under which the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is operating at that time?
Madam Chair, if I may, I think it's probably fair to say that the license may be exercised rather than it is in effect. It would remain in effect for the period approved. It's the exercise that's the issue.
Thank you for that clarification. So the license can be exercised so long as the current guidelines in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are adhered to. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman?
I agree.
Okay. Thank you, folks. Good luck. The next
Thank you.
item on the agenda is S&S Management LLC doing business as Garbanzo Mediterranean Fresh, 45 Bond Street. This is also in the Arsenal development. This is a request for a new common victualler license. Ms. O'Neill, would you please read the ad and report on the abutters list for us?
The abutters, I'm in receipt of 5 out of 6. I do have the 6th white receipt that it was sent. We just didn't receive the green card. The legal ad, notice is hereby given under Chapter 140 of the General Laws as amended that S&S Management LLC, doing business as Garbanzo Mediterranean Fresh, is applying for a common victualler license to be located at 41 Bond Street, Watertown, Mass. Description of premise. The proposed is a new restaurant that is 2,025 square feet on the ground level floor and consists of dining area, kitchen, back room with storage, 2 public restrooms with 34 interior seats, 12 exterior patio seats. The public entrance exit is at the storefront with a second egress to the back room. Hours of operation Monday through Sunday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Hearing on this application will be held on Thursday, July 16th, 2020 at 7:15 p.m. via Zoom.
Via Zoom, I like that. Thank you, Julie. Do we have a representative of S&S here?
We do. I believe it's Derek, but he has to be unmuted.
Okay, let me, was I returned to host? Because I am not being allowed to unmute him at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, he's
I
unmuted.
call. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I called in on my phone as well, and I couldn't. I was talking, and I didn't think you folks heard me. Sorry about that.
You probably, you weren't heard because you were muted. Okay, well, we have Derek St. G. What's the G for?
George.
George. Mr. St. George, will you describe the operation, the status of the restaurant, and the plans going forward?
Yeah, so we're a fast casual Mediterranean concept. We do all scratch-made sauces, fresh vegetables every day. We cook French fries. We have lamb. We have pitas, plates. It's a make-your-own line, as if in a Chipotle or a Subway. So a guest will walk in. They will come to the greeter counter. They will place their order, and then they will pick and choose toppings as they go down. A cashier will cash them out, and then they'll have the option to purchase a beverage or a side. And the current status of the restaurant is we've submitted to the health department and building. They had 2 minor comments. Just one of them was on our coving tile and for some clarification on our hood system. Those are being addressed and will be sent to them next week.
Okay. And what is the timetable on this?
We're hoping to be hammer swinging within a week or 2. We have our contractor bid already done. The plans are stamped by a local engineer and a local architect. We're hoping to be open in mid to late October.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Just one. Mr. St. George, correct?
Yes.
What is your experience with this type of endeavor? Do you have other restaurants, or
This is my first. I've started a company with a couple of individuals who I've known for many years. So this is my first. Well, this will be our second restaurant that I've been a part owner of. But I started working in a kitchen when I was 16 years old. I moved to Boston about 8 or 9 years ago, and I was with Panera Bread as a general manager for 4 years. I worked at almost every location in Boston. I was kind of the fixer. I would go in, we'd clean the restaurants up, we'd get the labor in line, we'd get the schedule in line, the cost of goods, and then we'd put a team into place, and I would go to the next one. I also did 4 restaurant openings for Blaze Pizza in Cambridge at One Canal Park, next to Fenway Park on Boylston Street, right across the street from where we are now on Stewart Street, and then down on Comm Ave by Boston University. So I've opened a variety of restaurants, a variety of concepts, and I've been doing practically nothing but working in or managing kitchens for the last 18 or 17 years.
So this will be the second one of this concept? Did I understand you correctly?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we are opening on Monday at 134 Boylston Street in the Emerson College area in Boston. We have our grand opening on Monday, and we're actually doing some training this week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Labadini, do you have questions for the applicant?
I do not.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the public regarding this application? There being none, let me review the recommendations from the town departments. Building has no comment, fire has no comment, zoning has no comment. Health notes that prior to construction, plans must be submitted for review and will be approved by the health department. The applicant has submitted plans for review by the health department, and they are in the process of being reviewed. Zoning has no comment. The police department says they have investigated the applicant's request and would have no objection to the issuance of the license, provided the following is stipulated on the license. Description of premises is as follows. An estimated 2,025 square feet consisting of dining area, kitchen, back room with storage, and 2 public restrooms. 2, seating capacity will be 46, 34 seats inside and 12 exterior patio seats. Item 3, the hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday, 10:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. And item 4, there shall be no alcoholic beverages on the premises. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman will take a recommendation.
Okay. I'll recommend approving the new common victular license for S&S Management LLC doing business as Garbanzo Mediterranean Fresh at 45 Bond Street, subject to the recommendations of the health department and the police department.
Thank you. Mr. Labadini?
I agree, and everything that Sandra just said.
Thank you.
41 Bond Street.
What?
41 Bond Street.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's listed as 45 on the agenda.
Yeah.
Typo, 41.
Okay, 41. Make that
Okay.
correct.
Don't get lost, Derek.
Go to the wrong building.
Okay,
Okay,
41,
41 Bond Street.
41 Bond Street. As long as we have it correctly on the license, that's the important place. And I also agree. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, D&G Towing Auto Repair Services, Inc., doing business as D&G Auto Body, 386 Arsenal Street. This is a request for an auto repair auto body license. Ms. O'Neill, would you read the ad and the abutter notices, please?
We received 7 out of 7 abutters. The legal ad. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 140 of the General Laws as amended that D&G Towing Auto Repair Services, Inc., doing business as D&G Auto Body, is applying for a new auto repair auto body license to be located at 386 Arsenal Street, Watertown, Mass. Description of premise is as follows. Approximately 3,600 square feet, one building, one office, 2 bathrooms, 14 on-site parking spaces. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., closed on Sundays. Hearing on this application will be via Zoom.
Thank you. I believe we have the applicant with us, but you will need to unmute yourself. There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Identify yourself and describe your experience and what's going on at this site.
Sure. My name is Gabriela Estrada. I am the president of D&G Towing and Auto Repair Services here out of Alston, our base location. We've been in business since 2007. We work with State Police, Boston Police, and the City of Boston in towing vehicles and automobile business. So that's kind of our experience from, you know, how we're coming over into Watertown.
Are you coming in as a second site, or you're moving your entire facility from the old site here?
This would be just for the auto body site. So we're separating it from the towing.
Okay, now is this an existing facility or it's a new facility?
What do you mean by that?
The auto body typically, and well, no, that's usually auto painting. There are certain
There now. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Are all of the current environmental and business requirements for auto body in place in the new facility, in the facility that you're moving into, or is this something you have to adjust to meet requirements?
It was already existing. We're not changing anything. It's going to remain the same. It was just a transfer of license, technically speaking. But for me, I had to reapply as a new.
That's right. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I don't, no.
Mr. Labadini?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. So the D&G Towing in Brighton,
Alston.
Alston.
Correct.
Okay. So you're taking the cars to this place to fix rather than tow trucks going in and out with towed cars every night?
No, nothing with tow truck is going to be over there at all. It's a whole going to be separate. It's just auto body work that's going to be done over there.
Sure. And I just got it because I'm curious and I'm from here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking on my MapQuest. What was there before next to the urgent care? Arsenal Collision Center? Is that the site?
It was Coach and Carriage, I believe.
Yeah.
Auto body.
Okay. No, I have no questions.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's return to the tow truck question, though. And that is, how are you getting the autos there? Are people driving to that facility for you to repair them, or are you moving them from the Alston facility here for the auto body?
So more than likely, everyone's going to be driving or getting their own forms of transportation to the body shop. Obviously, there'll be customers that would call us, and because we have the service, but we tend not to put those two together. We want to separate them as much as possible.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So if D&G Towing in Alston tows a car off the road that's been involved in an accident and will need some kind of body work or repair, it won't be towed right away to the Watertown site?
Not directly, no.
Okay.
It has to come to the
It
So they're
has
both-
it would have to come to the Alston site for insurance to inspect and do whatever they need to do.
Mhm.
And if the customer decides that, you know, I choose D&G Auto Body to do the services, then it will be transferred after, once it's ready and it's going to be started right away. We don't plan to keep any type of vehicles there for a long period of times. We just want to fix and get out in a quickly manner.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry, but I don't have the specification in front of me. How many cars were listed for the capacity?
14.
14, that's right. I remember that now. Are there any questions or comments from the public regarding this application? There being none, I will read the other department comments. Building department has no comment. Fire department notes that you will need to fill out a permit application for acetylene. There is no fee associated with this permit for the rest of the year, but going forward, it will cost $35 per torch annually. Health department has no objection. Zoning has no comment. The police department notes that the department has investigated the applicant's request and has no objection to the issuance of the license, provided the following be stipulated on the license. 1, the description of the site is as follows: approximately 3,600 square feet with parking for 14 vehicles, 10 vehicles outside and 4 vehicles inside. Ms. Estrada, does that correspond with what you are planning for the site? Okay. Item 2, hours of operation will be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. until 7 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., and closed on Sunday. 3, the property located at 386 Arsenal Street shall be maintained by the licensee in accordance with all town ordinances and bylaws. 4, all deliveries and transfer of vehicles shall be made on the property and not on the public way. 5, no alcoholic beverages shall be allowed on the premises. Now, I presume that you, we have had problems with a few people not adhering to that last requirement about unloading on the property, not on the public way. So your tow truck drivers, if they are required to transfer a vehicle from one site to another, will be able to and will be instructed to drive onto the site to unload the vehicle.
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Labadini, I will take a recommendation.
Recommend a yes and moving forward.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I vote in favor, yes.
Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman.
Yes, I agree, but my vote will be subject to the fire and police recommendations.
Yes. And I also agree this license is approved subject to the stipulations from the fire department regarding the permit application for the acetylene torches, and the police department, which repeats the hours of operation and the other requirements for operation of this license. So that's an okay vote for you, Ms. Estrada. Good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And am I going to get that permit sent to me, or do I call them directly? How does that work?
You have to call the fire department and ask for the application, fill it out, give it to them.
Okay.
Yes, you
so
need to take the initiative and not wait for them to contact you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We have the next item on the agenda, the Pequasset area number 1928 Fraternal Order of Eagles, new officers, directors. We have a letter from Kenneth Leitner Jr., who is representing the Eagles in this matter. As you may know, this office represents Pequasset area, Erie, number 1928 of the Fraternal Order of Eagles. The applicant has a matter scheduled before the licensing board for a change of officers. Request is made to continue the hearing for the change of officers on the above referenced matter to the August 2020 agenda. The reason for the request is that council was unable to meet with the principals of the applicant to revise the application that must be refiled with the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission and with this board. Thank you for consideration of this request. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you agree that we should continue this hearing to August 20, 2020?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Labadini?
I do.
Okay, the matter will be continued until the August 20, 2020 meeting of the licensing board in whatever form it takes. The next item is Hackney renewals. There are 3 cabs operated by Watertown Taxi. Their licenses expired April 30th. The board, of course, has been slowly dealing with these as we are now back in the process of holding hearings again. Ms. O'Neill, is there any reason that any other departments have given us that the 3 Hackney licenses should not be renewed?
No, nothing.
Have we heard from the police department that they have any objections to this?
They have no objections.
Okay. Then I recommend that we renew the Hackney licenses for the 3 cabs of Watertown Taxi. Mr. Labadini?
I agree that we should proceed and renew as well.
Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman?
I agree.
Okay. And that concludes our hearing for this evening, except for any comments you may have, Ms. O'Neill, that we should be aware of.
Do not.
Okay. This hearing is adjourned.